going to be Jan Nepomniachtchi versus Magnus Carlsen for the World Championship in November in Dubai. Candidate at the World Championship.
Yeah, Nepomniachtchi, I mean, with his
It was a tense semi-final match between Magnus Carlsen and Jan Nepomniachtchi.
Want to raise your chess to a new level? Challenge Yourself is an exclusive, innovative experience designed for Chess24 Premium members. Train like a champ with a unique set of lessons prepared by the coaches of the challengers. Boris Gelfand and co will help you improve your chess. Play a champ. Play a grandmaster each day in Banter Blitz. Take advantage of this incredible opportunity from June 10th. Go premium and challenge yourself.
Super discounts on merchandise. Massive sales on courses from Chessable. Chessable and Chess24 bundles. With new deals appearing every day. Visit chess24.com/deals.
Take your chess to the next level with carefully selected collections featuring some of the best video series from Chess24. Buy the courses to own them forever, save up to 60%, or go premium and access all series while having all other privileges of premium membership. Learn more at chess24.com/deals.
Okay. All right. Welcome, everybody. It's another day of Banter Blitz. Be having some fun today and playing some good games. Just a second to make sure I'm properly logged in, and we will get this show on the road. So, as always, I want to mention my Chessable courses, which I try to play the openings that I give there, and that they've largely been doing really well as of late. So, if anybody ever wants to buy them, I'm going to put them here in the chat. So please feel free to take a look. And I am only going to be interacting with chat on Chess24 and not YouTube and Twitch. So sorry, YouTube and Twitch, but let's get this started. See who wants to play. So let me just see if there's some challenges here. All right, I see Mr. Burns. Let's play with Mr. Burns. Or did I click the wrong thing? Okay, Mr. Burns, 3-0 is a bit fast, but I'll do my best. Normally I do 3-2 or 5-0, but all right, Mr. Burns, let's see what you can do to me. Congrats for the good achievements recently. Thanks much. Unfortunately, I had a lousy Euro Club Cup, but can't play well everywhere, and hopefully I will continue good form on to the US Championship and beyond. So yeah, okay. So taking d5, I don't believe in taking d5 for white and playing these kinds of Carlsbads if the bishop is not on g5. It can work if black has played b6, because then there's a queenside weakness to attack, but here I think white's already just worse. Like I can just throw f5 and basically try to mate him without much counterplay. So see Homer in the chat too. Man, everyone knows me now. They know that I'm impartial to the cartoon characters. But I like me my adult cartoons. Queen c2, so of course I'm going to play f5, and now at some point I just can throw rook f6, rook h6 or something, and just go like try to mate. And it's hard for me to believe that white will do anything on the queen side. Yeah, so I go a6, and this is the kind of position where if my pawn were on b6, he'd actually have some counterplay, but it just is not the case here. So now I want to make sure not to let him go knight takes e4 and then knight e5. That would ease the pressure a bit. So I'm going to play queen f6 instead of something more direct like g5. And really the only bad piece I have is the rook on a8, but it's not even that bad because it's making it hard for him to play anything useful on the queen side. Okay, so he maybe wants to go knight c5, but I'm not sure that does anything. I guess after knight c5, he can take on d7 and go knight e5. That's a bit annoying. But let's see. So if I play g5, knight c5, g4, he's just in time with knight d7, knight e5, which bothers me to some degree. Really don't want to let him go knight e5, but I guess I think I can play f4. That's probably a good solution because now he has released the pressure on the e4 knight, so getting f4 through is helpful. And his king will come under some pressure. He should probably play bishop d3 here, but I don't think he's going to equalize. And I'm ready for like queen h6. So I think f4 makes some sense because knight a4 releases that pressure. All right, so knight c5, I guess is a natural enough move. So it's a little annoying actually. Let's just go rook e8 and keep everything protected. I probably could have done something more ambitious, but this is fine. Maybe I should have played bishop takes c5, or nah, it doesn't look great either. It's always a little annoying when you feel like your opponent's done something really dumb and then your position's still not that great, because I don't know, optically it might look nice, but realistically I think white's still basically fine here. But you know, we'll see. All right, bishop c1, sure, but now I can take on c5 without worrying about my queen getting hit. And this means I'll be able to play bishop f5 later as well, and then all my pieces really spring to life. So I could take c5 here, but I'm worried my queen will get trapped. So I'm just going to drop back bishop c7, and then I'm ready for like bishop f5 or bishop g4 next, and my pieces are really springing to life. All right, so bishop d3. Let's see, if I play bishop g4, he has knight e5, and then f4 will hang at the end. So if I play bishop f5, f4 is hanging all the same. Could play bishop g4 and take with the rook on e5. I actually kind of like that. Let's give it a try. So if he plays knight e5, I'm going to take with the rook. And then I'll be able to play d takes e5, bishop takes e5, and the rook on a1 is loose. It will cost him a tempo. And then when he moves it, I'll play f3 and try to give mate. Okay, quick advice. How do you recover from a loss in a match or a tournament? You just have to play your next game and put it behind you. I mean, I try to do things that are just totally unrelated to chess. I'll watch some stupid movie or something. I really like this rule that another American player from years back was talking about in Darwin Yang. The rule that he always said that he followed, which I think makes a lot of sense, is after he loses a game, he gives himself 1 hour to yell, scream, whine, complain, throw punch pillows, throw the biggest temper tantrum he wants, and nobody's allowed to tell him not to. And then after that, and he can complain about his game and how bad he is and blah, blah, blah. And then after that 1 hour, he says he's not allowed to do it anymore and just has to focus on the next one. And I think that's a really good rule. If you just say like, forget the game, that's easier said than done. If you give yourself a specific amount of time to, you know, get your yayas out and make sure that it's all out of your system, and then after that, you are focused, I think that's a more healthy way of coming over it. All right, so let's see. Ooh, Heisenberg wants to play. This is fast as well, but I'm told that I'm not good at keeping up with TV shows that aren't animated, but this guy, I actually know who he is. Oh, and he's French. Okay. Bonne chance, Monsieur Heisenberg. Whatever that is, 87,000. All right, so let's stick with the repertoire still and try to pick up the pace a bit. All right, so here, So I gave c5 and sort of wanted to play this improved version of an exchange Slav, which I think makes a lot of sense for white. It's very solid for black still, but it's an exchange Slav where black does not get the bishop outside of the pawn chain. But yeah, so here he will struggle to play e5 because the d5 pawn is loose, and it'll also potentially ruin his structure. So here, let's he might be threatening e5 here actually, but I don't think so. I can play d takes e5 and knight takes d5. So I still don't think he's playing e5. I think he's going to have to play b6 instead, and then structurally it's a little bit skeptical for black. All right, so he doesn't believe me. He clearly wants to play e5, which I guess actually makes quite a bit of sense the way he's playing. But yeah, this probably isn't that great for me. If you can't stop e5, you might as well just start gaining some space. And here, when he plays e4, he'll gain quite a bit of space. But without a dark squared bishop, like, you think about how I just sort of mated the guy last game. It's like, how is he actually going to mate me this game without the dark squared bishop? I mean, here he just opened the center. It was played a very different way, which probably was a pretty intelligent way of doing it. But like, without a dark squared bishop, I just don't believe he's going to give mate. And so I'm not wildly intimidated by what's going on here. I guess I probably just blundered queen f6. Yeah, just as I said that, he's going to go queen f6 and start attacking my stuff. But even this, somehow I'm not sure it's so bad. Like, let's say I go queen d3. And he can take f3 and take d4, but that's nothing special for him because I can take e4. And at some point, this extra space might matter. All right, so I don't want to take e4 or take d5. If I take d5, knight f3, queen f3 doesn't look great. I think I just have to take e4. And this is probably very close to just equal, but if anyone's better, it's probably me. Guess I should take with the knight. I don't really want to give him a tempo to get a discovered attack. It's very close to equal here, but have I ever played in the Spanish league? No, I haven't. I've been invited to in a future year, but we'll see. I don't know. After the last one, I'm not too keen on team tournaments in general anyway. I think people can make me angry in team events. How do I prepare for US Championship? I assume you've played with all the other participants many times. I don't know. Did I just blunder knight c2? No, there's rook c83. You just have to, it's like any other tournament. You have to look up your stuff. I mean, they're all like, I mean, they're just chess players. You're still just preparing for chess games. It's not that, I don't think it's substantially different considering it's people you have some history with. And of course, it's not everyone I have history with. Every now and then it's you know, people just sort of are playing the US Championship for the first time, like for one reason or another. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, here this is absolutely equal. I don't even know why I'm still pressing it, but let's see. So if I go knight h7, rook e8, knight g5, it's no longer equal. There we go. I don't know why, but I don't know how I managed to get a pawn up here. This was not a great game. But now I should be pretty routinely winning. This is a clean pawn up, and I'm getting a lot of space as well and controlling some key squares, and this doesn't have any major counterplay, so I think I should cruise to victory here, but you know, those are also famous last words. All right, so let's gain more space and get ready for rook d7. Yeah, okay, this rook is not very intimidating. Did I blunder that? Nah, I can just go b6. Knight d4 was good too. So yeah, everything was good. All right, take, get this pawn, and should be routinely over. So knight d4. And let's go check, I guess, and knight e6, and start getting pieces. Probably the best plan here is to try to mate him, actually. Just go like some kind of h4, h5. So here he can go knight f3, but I can go knight e4, but I can go king f3, so I don't care that much. Yeah, so check, let's go king f4 there, and now let's go check. and knight d7, and now I don't think he can get away with rook takes f2. He doesn't even try, but now he's still just material down. So yeah, okay, take this, and now take this, and yeah, so now is where it gets sort of stupid, and it's just about flagging, which is why I don't like playing these like super fast games, but it's fine. This one I probably will be able to finish in time, even though I'm not exactly the guy who's good at just moving immediately and winning. All right, so here, check, and now this should be made in short order. F5. All right, good game to Heisenberg. Merci pour la partie. Prochaine fois. All right, who else are we playing? Let's play with Arya. Howdy, Sam. Do I live in the Bay Area? Yes, I do. I'm not in the Bay Area right now. Now I'm in St. Louis. I'm just sort of resting up for US Championship, but yeah, in general, my base is the Bay Area. All right, so we're playing with Adia 11-13. So continue with my chessable repertoire. It's working so far. And see if he can cause some trouble to my Semislav. So queen c2, bishop d6, b3. Yeah, so here, bishop, he should play bishop e2. Yeah, that's not a good move. After e5 already, I think white should be careful not to become worse. Actually, I managed to lose to Jorge Corey in Beal because I couldn't remember my analysis and I got a bad position when I messed it up. And then he played against me again. And then and that time I was just much better with black but I still managed to lose because of some rapid nonsense. All right, so here this is already looking very skeptical for white to me, but I have to figure out the best way if there's any way to cause direct trouble because DC4 feels very natural. Yeah, I think I can just do that. Oh, he takes with the B pawn. So now he's structurally in not a great spot. And my pieces are nice and active. So black should already be maybe a little bit better. It's not much. It's fine. Okay, so castle. I guess, I don't know, I'm sort of regretting bishop e6. He's kind of going to walk straight into f4, f5, but let's see. If I go queen b6, there's no knight d5. Let's go queen b6 as proof. No, there's rook b1. It's kind of annoying. All right, I'm going to go rook e8. I'm sort of anticipating that f4 could come, and as a result, this rook will be pretty good on the open file. If f4, kind of might have to take c3. I don't really want to let him go f5, but it might not be the end of the world. So let's see. Well, Sven Eriksson saying queen c7 was best. Yeah, it might have been. I guess that means that after f4, he won't be able to play f5. Yeah, okay. So now what do I do? Taking c3, he takes back with the bishop, and then it's hard for me to clamp down on the e4 score. So I'm just going to retreat this one. And sooner or later, I can go queen e7 and bishop b6, and that should be a pretty reasonable counterplay. If he plays e4 here, it feels like he's begging for some kind of tactic to hit him in the face, but maybe he can get away with it. e4, if knight e4, bishop f5, bishop d3, I don't see it. He also can take with the queen. All right, so that one feels really skeptical. So let's start with knight g4. I dare you to take this pawn on h7. If you take it, then after king h8, you'll have to defend e3, and then I can go to queen h4 next and take your choice. So, but what else is he going to do? If he brings a rook to e1, I have bishop b6. This is probably pretty good for me. So rook f3 is a sensible move. Let's go bishop b6 and attack this e3 pawn further. So bishop h7 is a bit more serious now because he has rook h3, but I still don't believe in it. And he can't go rook e1 because of queen h4. Actually, no, he can. He plays g3 then, he's defended. All right, so let's see if I was full of it here. I don't believe he's going to beat me at this point. Like if rook h3, I can go knight takes e3, and then there's bishop g8, and if I made it, I can go king takes g8 and run queen h7, bishop a3, and c5, and I'm good. I don't think rook h3 is working. I also would have bishop e3 there. If king f1, there's bishop c4. If king g1, there's knight f2. Yeah, so I don't think rook h3 is working. He's got to try rook, but rook e1 doesn't work anymore. So go queen h4 and then g3 and the bishop drops. So I actually think bishop h7 is a big mistake. He probably should have played rook e1, but then I was going to play queen h4, g3, and like queen h5, and black should be very comfortable at least. Yeah, I think here white's collapsing. c5, spirited, I like it. Makes perfect sense, but I'm not sure I'm a believer. So let's take it. I guess he has to go knight d1. It's his big idea, but he's not actually threatening to take my bishop right now because I can take on h7 in response. Okay, bishop d5, rook h3 feels like I'm asking too much. If queen b6, rook h3 again, I could just go queen h4 here. Yeah, I kind of like that. Let's go queen h4. I threaten like some kind of mate on e1 in some cases, so he can't play rook h3. But I'm also threatening his bishop, and I'm threatening to do something like queen e1, rook f1, and knight takes e3. So I think this is falling apart for white. Man, Sam has done a lot of calculation training. Yeah, well, you know, you work with Jakob long enough, a few things happen. And one is that you get good at calculation. And then the other is that your rating generally goes way up. So lots of calculation work. Do I have a particular strategy for FIDE Grand Swiss? Yeah, I'm not playing. That's my strategy. I've spent 13 days at home since what was it, May 15th. That's just not nearly enough. I've been traveling way too much and I needed a break. All right, so this has to just lose. Hang on. So queen h2, queen h1, queen g2, knight f2. I can just go knight takes f2 and he can't mate me. Rook f2, bishop g4. That's definitely going to win. So let's do that. Check, check. Check, he has to go knight f2, I think, and then I take this and he's not mating me on g7 and the whole position collapses. But yeah, I have to skip the FIDE Grand Swiss. All right, so takes, and now I just have to be a little bit careful not to get myself mated, so I'm going to take this bishop so that I can run my king away to f8. All right, so Sokolov commented that chess is not a fair game, and he's sort of right, but yeah. All right, here I should be routinely winning. I'm just a piece up. I mean, somehow I can probably get that bishop on h7, but I just don't care. Like I should get my king out of the way and not get rook rollered on the h file, and that should be enough to win the game. So one piece is quite sufficient. So let's go rook a d8 check. Just go check. Okay. I'm just gonna go king f6, get my king nice and safe. If he takes on g4, I have bishop e2. This is fine. All right, good game, Arya. Gracias por la partida. All right, who's up next? Let's play with, okay, it's Jup. I always got to play with Jup. He likes Banter Blitz. All right, let's try something different. Normally I play my chessable repertoire, but here I'm going to try e4. Okay, so let's see if he can teach me a thing or two about the Spanish. All right, I'll take c6. I actually tried this in the Euro Club Cup a couple of years ago. It's not as stupid as it looks. It's close, but it's not as stupid. All right, so this one I thought was not supposed to be great for black. I thought this was kind of nice for white because I've at least got the queens off and fixed the structure with black having a nice Solani on e5, and he's definitely has to be fine here in some capacity, like castle's long and then rook e1 or something, but black has to be fine. But this struck me as a more playable line for white than what he normally gets. That move I don't like. Now I can force him to give up his bishop, and now white should be clearly better. Jakob has a book on calculation? No, he has much more than one book on calculation. He's got like a whole series. He's the man for this stuff. We do this stuff at Killer Chess Training all the time, like lots of good calculation work. and he's gotten his books. It's all really great. All right, yeah. So here I think white, technically this is probably close to winning actually. It's just like I got the good structure and black got nothing for it. So let's, I don't think trading all the pieces will help him. So let's go h4 and get ready for h5. He's going to have to play h5 himself, I think, which he really doesn't want to do. He doesn't believe me. Okay, so we go h5. And then I'll go knight h4 and f4, and I will make a pass pawn and he won. Is the Alekhine defense ever an option for top level chess? I mean, you can sort of get away with it in rapid, but in serious games, I wouldn't touch it. Do I believe much in the English for white? Do you think he'll do a chessable on it? I mean, yes, I believe in it. No, I don't think I'll do a chessable on it. I think that other people have already covered that. I've actually just agreed to do a chessable on the Berlin for black. So I will get started on that after US Championship when I'm home on like late October, probably finish it up, the move trainer in late November, go through editing and stuff. I certainly don't think it'll be out before the new year, but my next project is going to be the Berlin. Everyone's favorite opening. But yeah. This feels totally lost for black. Okay, so there, can't win a piece, unfortunately. But let's just coordinate better. So I'm going to start with knight f5 check. And then he has to play something like king f6, and then I want knight g3. And then I'll be able to play e5 next, and my coordination will be fixed. So this feels very convincing for white. How did I enjoy my stay in Sochi? I mean, it's like any other tournament. You tend to enjoy it if you're playing well and not if you aren't. And the World Cup is sort of a tragic event because unless you win the tournament, you're going to go home unhappy because you will have lost the most important match. So this match with Karyakin, I think, will give me nightmares for a very, very long time. And I suspect when I look back on my career, when it's time to retire, I suspect this is going to be the match that I regret the most, this one from this World Cup. I think if I had played a bit better, I would have won the match. And then, I mean, given my score with Duda, it's very possible I would have just won the World Cup. But no, it's the opening. If you didn't hear me, it's the Berlin that I'm going to do next. So everybody's absolute favorite. But it's objectively a very good opening, even if it's an incredibly annoying one in a lot of ways. And it'll be a good experience for me to spend some time working on a lifetime repertoire. All right, so now this knight is basically frozen forever. So just have to make sure not to let it out. I guess you can go a5 and then take this way and get the knight out like that, but it's not going to help. Okay, so how are we going to conclude this one? King e5 and f6, probably good enough. Can I reroute my knight anywhere better? Not really. Yeah, let's just go king e5 and f6 will come, and that should be enough. Now, the Karyakin game that bothers me the most was the one in the second tiebreak game. I had won the first one, and the second one I out-prepared him and had this tricky line in the h3 knight off, and black was almost better. I remember that you're not supposed to castle. I hadn't reviewed this line specifically for that day. But I remembered you're not supposed to castle. You have to develop your bishop instead. So I played bishop e6 pretty quickly, but this was just wrong. You're supposed to play b5. And if I play b5, black is already, I think, slightly better. And then I'm slightly better on the board, extra time on the clock. I need to draw. I mean, of course, it's rapid. Anything could happen. It's still possible I would have lost the match anyway, but I think it's very likely I would have not lost. But yeah, you know, it was a tragic event, sort of. All right, this has gotten a lot more difficult than I was expecting it to be. Okay, king g6, knight b5, king h6, c3, king g7, c2, and he's just in time. I want tempo. let's go e6, and this is about, yeah, this e7 is a better way. Now if knight takes b5, I don't have king e6, he has knight d4. No, I've made this much harder for myself than it should have been, but now I think I should win. So let's go king e6. And I think I can run over to the b pawn. But we'll see. I've managed to make this so much harder than it should have been. Hi, Thor. All right, I'm getting some doggy attention here. Just a second. All right, hang on. Why is this so hard all of a sudden? All right, let's go here. I'm going to do this a little differently. We're going to king e5 and then go king e5 instead. And ask him for a move in this position, which is hard to do. All right, so now, yeah, this got so much closer than it should have been, but I think I should win this one. Let's go to f5. He can't get to my pawn in time, so yeah, this should win. Six. The pawns are split far apart, which should be quite good for white. Yeah, so now let's box this king out with knight e5 and then get ready for king e6 and yeah, king e6. Let's go king e7 and keep his king totally boxed. And then next up is knight c4, knight d6, and then I promote the pawn. So 7, and then yeah, I will reroute the knight to d7, and then that should be good enough. So let's go check, and then check, and knight d7, and I will make a queen, and his king is boxed out, so I win. So yeah, this one took a lot more effort than I was expecting. I probably misplayed it horribly at some point in the ending, but I did manage to pull it out in the end. So good game, Jep. Let's see who else we want to play with. Let's play with Lie Algebra. Give some lower rated players a chance to play. All right, Lie Algebra from Turkey. Yeah, let's play a good game. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we'll play with, there's Homer. All right, Homer. You know, I'm impartial to the cartoon characters. What do we got here? Kuljit Singh Khurana Simpson. All right, so, yeah, okay, let's mix it up a bit. I'll play King's Indian just because I feel like playing something different, and I never play King's Indian in real chess, so I can play it in Banter Blitz and see if I can fake it till I make it. All right, f4. This feels, I don't know, I'm not the biggest expert on the 4 pawns attack, but I don't really believe in this. All right, so what do I want to do now? I guess e6 can't be wrong. I'll take this and I guess let's go bishop g4. I think you're supposed to trade off pieces in the Benoni, if I'm not mistaken. Although I've been told, based on recent events, that my understanding of the Benoni is non-existent. So we'll see. But this seems like a pretty reasonable position for black. So rook e1, and now let's just go like queen c7 and get ready for c4 and knight c5. It's not easy for him to stop. All right, so c4 and knight c5 comes, and I think white's a little overextended. I feel like whenever black gets knight c5 in the Benoni, he usually has a pretty reasonable position, but what do I know? All right, so e5, this guy wants to rock the boat. Not sure I get the point. So take, and then fe5, rook e5, bishop f4. I guess I have to take e1, and then he goes. Pieces are a little bit active then. Could do something a bit more rash. I can also just move my knight, but that seems a bit chickenish. I'm going to do something a little bit rash. I'm going to take this one. He's going to take back. I expect bishop f4, and then I'm actually just going to give an exchange with knight d7. I believe in the dark squares and the Benoni, so I probably could have just gotten away with taking the rook and playing queen d7, but this actually feels kind of nice. If he takes my rook, I go knight takes e5, I get a knight to d3, and these dark squares can be very problematic very fast. And this way I've also kept the e-file closed. And a good rule of thumb is whenever you're looking at any exchange sacrifice, the first thing you should always ask is how good are the rooks? And if the rooks are good, the exchange sacrifice almost certainly will not work. And here I don't think white's rooks are good enough for that to be the case. So yeah, this seems pretty interesting. All right, so let's start with knight cd3, and I think white's position should fall apart pretty fast here. All right, so take this way. If rook e2, I can play knight b2, I can play queen c5, I can play bishop d4. I have way too many good resources available. Yeah, this is going to be good for me. Okay, so rook e4, but this should lose directly. Just figure out how. So I can just give a check and go knight f2. That will take his rook. That seems pretty good. Well, that's fine. It will be good enough. Yeah. I guess you can go queen f3 and knight takes e4 and have some counterplay with the d pawn, but it's hard to believe. For queen f3, I can also just take c3 if I don't want to deal with that. I wonder if I should have taken b2 instead. Probably also wins, but okay. Queen e2 I think is a mistake because now I can take this one and she can't take with the knight, which I think he would have liked to do. So let's go rook d8 and got this pawn under control and pawn up. Bishop's probably a bit better than the knight now since it didn't manage to get to e4. If he plays rook d1, probably just take a5. Could go something else instead, queen b4. All right, rook there. Let's just be simple. I think this rook ending should win, so I'm not gonna think much more than that. Or maybe it deal with the queen ending instead. So if I go rook takes d5, so yeah, now let's check with the rook on d5. If he plays queen c4, if nothing else, I can just take it and take a5. So here, I guess if queen d6 check, rook d2, it feels like it should be mate. Yeah, this should be mate, so feels like this has to be mate. King g1, rook d1, rook d2, king back to g1, queen g3. Run out of checks pretty fast for him. Can always just take a5 if I want to be simple and boring, but so rook d1, rook d2, king back to g1, queen g3, rook d4. It's an annoying move. Can go, yeah, no, that's too annoying. All right, let's start with rook takes a5 and just be boring. This should be good enough. So he doesn't have any brilliant checks. Yeah, so here let's start with this check and then give queen f6 check and get my pieces to the right squares with tempo. And now I take his queen, but even if I didn't, I would have won with the material. All right, so let's play with Luis from Madrid. Good luck to you. Good game. 5, 4, okay. So C4, let's stick with the repertoire. I've deviated from it the last couple of games, but everyone's favorite exchange Slav. I actually really lost a lot of sleep when I lost to some guy who played the exchange Slav last week. I don't think I ever had before in a Banter Blitz. But yeah, okay. So this A6 move is for something like this. And now I've made asymmetric pieces, which is the best black can really hope for here. It's an incredibly dull and boring position, but I actually am very happy with how the game has gone so far because at least I have a knight against a bishop and I've gotten rid of the bishop pair. And here actually I'm already faster the c file. My suspicion is black is already like a slightly better. I mean, realistically, this is very, very dry, but if you made me choose a color here, it's definitely black. So that's a good sign. So let's start with gaining space. I don't think this is that easy for white, actually. Rook d1. I guess he wants to play e4. That seems sensible enough. Let's go rook a7 so that I can swing the other rook to c7, but e4 should equalize here, I think. That's not a great move. So I'll go rook c7, and you cannot play rook c1 because of knight b4. Or maybe you can. Hang on. Knight b4, knight b5, rook c2, knight d6. I really think this guy just blundered knight b4. I doubt he saw it, but unfortunately, I don't think it works. There's knight b5, rook c2, knight d6. And it seems like that's not great for me. So I'm just going to be patient instead. But still, I think black is pleasantly better here. This knight is really bad on c3. You should probably move it, actually. If he plays knight e2 or something, he's got to be fine. But sort of a bummer that he didn't lose immediately with allowing knight b4. So let's see. You really want me to play knight b4, and here again, I don't think it works. I could play knight a5 though. Hang on, knight a5. If knight b5, ab5, I win. If knight d5, knight d5, ed5, and I win as well. So actually, knight a5, I think it's a huge problem. Yeah, I don't think he's going to solve this one. Yeah. So knight b3, and now I'm taking your toys. So this is technically winning, just have to be a little precise. I think queen b4 works because if ba6, I have queen b2, and then if rook c2, there's rook c3, and black wins. So yeah, queen c2, queen b2, and I win. Knight bishop on f3 was not a very good piece this game. All right, rook c3, rook c3, there's rook b2, rook d3, a7, and it's annoying to stop the pawn because rook b8 is coming. So I should start with this check and then play rook c3 next, I think is better. Yeah, so take this way and then take with the queen. And I get my rook behind the pawn and I'm good to go. All right, so good game, Luis from Madrid. Let's see who else wants to play. Let's play with Samuel Fincasalona. May I compliment you on your extremely handsome first name. Also from Spain. Lots of Spanish guys today. All right, first e4 of the day. No, I guess I had the one game where I was white with e4, but we'll see if I can. Okay, so bishop c4 makes absolutely no sense. People have been asking me to include this move, but I don't get why on earth anybody would ever put the bishop on this square if black's pawn can go to e6. It makes no sense whatsoever. But yeah, okay, so e5 now. Let's just go knight e8. I'm quite happy to let him play e6, knight d6. So take this way, and nice bishop he got there. Doing absolutely nothing, and I'm ready to take the bishop pair whenever. But yes, I don't know why bishop c4 is so common. It's like it never makes sense to develop the bishop to c4 if black can put his pawn on e6 instead of e5. I mean, that's why the Italian makes sense, and you know, no one plays bishop c4 against the French. Okay, so here, let's just grab the bishop pair. I mean, I could have tried to play against the bishop on b3 and argue it was a bad piece, but I think grabbing a bishop pair on an open board with a semi-imbalanced pawn structure is pretty reasonable too. So the bishop on b7 looks really good. So he's giving me two bishops actually, but I'm not sure I want to take the second one. So I kind of want to go for f6, e5, but it was the e6 pawn is loose, which is a bit annoying. Let's just go knight d4 and challenge that knight. I'm certainly happy to play c takes d4. This guy never met a trade he didn't like, apparently. Knight e4, so f5, f4 wins the piece, I think. Certainly looks like it. Let's do it. Yeah, guys, wondering about challenges. You're most likely to get a game. You can challenge whatever you want, but you're most likely to get a game if you do 5-0 or 3-2. Those are my favorites. I don't really like these stupid time scrambles where chess has nothing to do with it anymore. But yeah, all right, so here I'm a piece up and routinely winning. So anchor the bishop, very nice. Let's go queen e5, get ready to take his one good piece. And then sooner or later, I'll go rook f6 and go give mate. All right, so I'll take this one. And then rook f6 is fine. And I should be able to mate pretty soon over on the king side. So let's see, rook f6, rook h6 is fine. Is challenging is white okay? Yeah, you can challenge whatever color you want. All right, so we've provoked the g3 square, so now we'll do this, and queen g3, and bishop e5 is coming. Yeah, and that's going to be mate. Good game, Samuel Finn Casolana. All right, let's play with someone else. Dangerous Ride, I can play with you. I know you like these as well. Hi, Thor. Doggy at my feet. If I may ask, what happened in your game with Marcoya in European Club Cup? Yeah, he offered me a draw in an absolutely winning position. He played a completely brilliant game and played like much better than me, made me look like an idiot, and then offered a draw. I mean, I don't know why, but let's just say I wasn't complaining. I took too many risks that game, and he punished me and should have won. All right, so yeah, here white is going to put the bishop on g2, I guess, which just doesn't make sense. The whole point of putting the bishop on g2 in like the Catalan is that you're arguing that this bishop will be better than the bishop on c8. But like, it's pretty obvious, I think, that the bishop on h7 is better than the bishop on g2. The only way he breaks the bishop on g2 open is to play e4, which gives him an isolani. And the bishop on h7 is actually influencing the queen side where things are going to happen. But yeah, here I think black is very comfortable. So yeah, no repetitions today. And soon enough, I'll go for like knight a5, knight c4. And this is basically another exchange Slav, but where white put the bishop on g2, which is not particularly enticing. In fact, it was another exchange Slav. So at least he has the b4 score under control. I can't go like knight b4 and immediately crush him, but let's start with Knight a5 is fine, and look at some weakened squares. Next up, I can play queen b6, and he's not ready to play knight a4 because of queen b3. He's not ready to play b4, so this feels pretty annoying for white to deal with. All right, so there's that, but now I think he's basically stuck. So if I stick this queen on b3, like what on earth is he going to play next? Can barely move any of his pieces. Oh, that's what he's going to play next. One of those days, guys. One of those days. Well, there goes 2 Tempe, but luckily I'm still in pretty good shape. His bishop on c1 is really bad. Rook b1. Let's just double the rooks. Seems sensible enough. I'm totally happy to let him play b4. I think that only helps me, not him. His bishop is really bad. Yeah, queen b5, sure, but if I take it and go a6, he has to go back to c3, and then bishop takes a3 is good. So let's do that. Take on a3. He has knight takes d5 though, but it's probably still really good. Bishop a3, knight d5, ba3, knight c3, and it looks so bad for white. All right, you probably could just be patient with rook fc8, but I'm sick of this symmetry, and this should. Rook fc8 was just a better move. Okay, you didn't bother here and pawn up, but yeah. Okay, this game is over. Allergies, unfortunately. Okay, so let's clog that b file, and next up is probably knight c4, just rook fc8, and this game is completely over. All right, let's go rook fc8, activate the last piece, and white just can't move a thing. Maybe consider playing a very solid opening next game, like the Bomb Cloud. I mean, in Banter Blitz, I guess you can do it. I actually get incredibly annoyed when people do that in real games, when they get invited to tournaments, paid a ton of money, and they just play the Bomb Cloud, and you know, other people aren't getting invited. I'm like, you guys just no. What you want to do when you're fooling around online, it's fine, but like playing the Bomb Cloud in a real game, I don't think you should do. Yeah, I missed the fire season in California. Yeah, that's, I mean, keep in mind, California is big. It's not like my area usually gets hit by the fires much. There's some smoke, but yeah, that's one thing I don't miss about home, but I'm really looking forward to getting back to California for a bit. All right, let's take on f2 and mate this guy, bring the game to its conclusion. But a nice Berlin perpetual. Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, I get why you guys are frustrated. I mean, people talk about rules. Oh, how do we avoid these quick draws? What rules can we make? I have a very simple solution. Just whenever somebody does that, just don't invite them back next year. It's not complicated. All right, this is made. I don't even know why I didn't play it last move. Check, and then if king h5, just check and rook h2. But yeah, like, I mean, if people just make unplayed draws in their matches and it's obviously prearranged, sure, you can't prove it, so you can't chuck them out of the tournament, you can't violate your contract, but after that, just literally never invite them to another event. This is not complicated. The overwhelming majority of top players do not do that. There's plenty of people to invite that don't do that. All right, and you can very easily get rid of the ones that do. And okay, so we're gonna play more classical Sicilian with this Blunder Panda. Let's have some fun. I tried your lines with white against the semi-Slav, and white was somehow black was playing this queen c7, rook c8, queen b8, and only after developing bishop e7. That's a little weird. Before even castling? I don't know this line at all. I'll have to check it out. I put up a post in all of my Trustable courses where you can cite whatever you want me to cover in the updates if you think anything relevant is missing. And of course, I reserve the right to disagree and not believe that something is important enough to merit any further work. But if I agree with you, I will definitely take care of it. So here he's playing this pawn sacrifice, but this fizzles to pretty dry quality pretty fast. That's not a great move. They're supposed to play queen e2, I think. But yeah, I will get to the Trustable stuff in like late October, early November, and I'll probably do basically like one batch of updates per year from now on. That's really all I can muster with my given schedule. So it's not going to be like before where I could just answer like in real time. But I'll do my best to update my stuff like once a year, which should be pretty reasonable for an active tournament player. Anyhow, here I don't understand what White's been doing. It just looks like he's a pawn down to me. You don't sacrifice a pawn and then spend 3 tempi playing bishop h6 to trade here when you're clearly not going to mate me. All right, so let's start with queen e5 in tempo this night, and I'm actually going to mate it pretty soon. I think I'm going to go knight g4 next, and then g3 queen h5. All right, so a man of my word. Let's go knight g4. And then he has to play g3. I play queen h5. He has to play h4. I play knight e5, and he probably should get mated. F4 is not a good move. Okay, so let me count the wins. E takes F3 is definitely going to be the best move. But there's also queen d4 and knight F2. There's queen d4 and just take his bishop. Yeah, I don't know. I shouldn't count the wins if other people are waiting to play. I should just play one. This probably the fastest way to make him resign was to just take his bishop, but this is definitely going to work. Do you train folks who contact you through? Yeah, I mean, if people want to get lessons from me, they're welcome to fill out my contact form. I'm not going to share my rates online, but I will say they are very high. I'm not cheap, but yeah, people can put in their fill out my contact form on my website, and I'll get back to you with rates for lessons. I don't teach much, but mainly because people don't want to pay the rates, but I will work with you. Yeah, okay, so I actually gave knight bd7 in the classical course, but I'm going to play dc4 here because I gave this as an update to the Semislav where I gave the Botvinnik as well. So we'll see if I can remember my stuff, but the Botvinnik was an alternative variation. The main one is definitely the Cambridge Springs. I like it better for practical purposes, but I think I made the Botvinnik work reasonably well. So we'll see if I can turn that into reality. All right, so good luck, bend it like Karpov. Let's have a good game. Big part of this will be seeing if I can even remember my own recommendations. So here, queen b6, and then it's like e takes f6. Yeah, you have to take my knight, buddy. That way. That I don't believe in. Now I'm going to go take your d4 pawn from you. Okay, this is not going to work for like 6 different reasons. I don't even know if I want to play bishop b4 check. It just forces his king where it wants to go. Let's go c5. Black is absolutely winning. Okay, that's a bishop on g2. Yeah, so this did not work for white. He's still playing, which I'm a little surprised by, but it is his right. Yeah, that didn't work for white. So let's play with math, chess, science, music. I enjoy 3 of those things. So, well, we share some tastes, it seems. Yeah, okay, we'll stick with the repertoire. I thought about playing another King's Indian, but didn't want to try my luck. So we'll give this a try. E3, knight bd7. Which 3? Take a guess. He's playing my own repertoire against me. All right, let's see if I can get some kind of decent position. This line I'm playing here for black is one of the better ones that he can play against the repertoire overall. It's very close to equal. I think in a lot of lines the computer says it is, but I feel like it's still, I would still take the white side, but Semi-Slav, good luck proving an advantage. I think I did a pretty good job finding a decent practical option for white. Okay, but bishop d2 makes no sense. Why the bishop should have gone to b2. All right, so I'm gonna go for a hanging pawn structure, which normally I don't advocate, but the bishop is so misplaced on d2. It should be on b2 here so that he has an open d file to harass my d5 pawn, and now the bishop is on the wrong square. So I think I will get more. Also, it means that it will be a lot easier for me to break through with a move like d4 later and start throwing stuff. So I think this is a very good version of the hanging pawn structure. I certainly could have taken with the knight on d5, and black was at least fine. But yeah, all right. So queen c2, let's go rook c8. The main reason I want this move actually is that in some cases I want to play bishop d6 and I want to be able to meet knight b5 with bishop b8 without getting my rook stuck. So yeah, here I should be able to just sort of put pieces on natural squares and try to attack him. In a lot of these positions, even when the bishop was on b2, I sort of felt like white was a bit more comfortable there, but the computer was often not totally impressed. And those were sort of what I was recommending for white. But with a bishop on d2, I just don't believe in this. Okay, that is begging to get checkmated. So d4, ed4, bishop f3, gf3, cd4. I guess you have rook e1 there, but I can play dc3 then. Rook e7, cd2. Looks pretty good. All right, I have a feeling this should be mate, so I'm going to give it a try. I can also just take back c takes d4, because if he plays knight d4, I have queen e5. So let me think here. cd4, if knight d4, queen e5 is definitely winning. So he will have to try rook e1, and then if I go dc3, rook e7, cd2, rook c8, I'm threatening mate on c1. If he plays knight takes d2, I just take his rook. I think that works. Yeah, let's give this a try. I think this is working well. I may live to regret it, but I think I can give the queen for the two pieces and he's going to lose too much material afterwards. Okay, that's not going to work. So how do I want to punish? If I take with the queen on d7, that's probably the easiest, because if knight d4, I have queen g4. Otherwise, yeah, just take with the queen on d7. Keep it simple, stupid. I suspect I could have done something more direct. I mean, dc3 is certainly just one material, but maybe not that much after bishop c8, cd2, and like, I don't know, rook d2. It looks so winning, but I mean, this I think is a bit easier. Is the ability to visualize so far ahead without looking at the board a talent or a consequence of a ton of practice? It's mostly practice. I don't think anybody who claims they calculate well naturally, I just sort of call BS on you. But yeah, it's a lot of practice. I've done a huge amount of calculation training in my life, and I think it sort of shows. But yeah, here somehow he's actually putting up a little more resistance than I'd like, because it's only occurring to me now. I thought that after knight g3, I could play h5, but he will have queen f5. Yeah, that's not going to help though. Now I'm going to take f3 and it's gone. But no, I think tactical vision, or like how easily the most natural move comes to you, that's a lot about talent. But calculation's much more about just putting in the elbow work, and it's not glorious stuff. It's incredibly frustrating. It's incredibly demanding. It's you work incredibly hard, and it takes a long time to get better. But rest assured, eventually you do. There's no question about it, and it turns you into a much better chess player. So let's see who else wants to play. If you look at places where they do a lot of calculation training, like China and India, those are the places that are growing the fastest in terms of their producing great chess players as of late. All right, Ari Mean, let's play with you. Starting to lose my voice. It's a d4. Ari Mean from Germany. Is Nepo going to be the next champion? It could certainly happen, but I don't think it's wildly likely. I think Magnus is a very large favorite, but rest assured, the one thing I will say is, well, I think Magnus is a big favorite. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's well, there's very few people in the world who are capable of playing brilliant chess. Absolutely everybody in the world is capable of playing terrible chess, including Magnus. And if he just brings a really bad version of himself, he's probably going to lose. But I don't think that's super likely. All right, so let's play with John Tadros. Good luck to you. And nobody wants to play. They send me challenges and they're not ready for me. I must not be very exciting. Do you distinguish between calculation training and tactics puzzles? Yeah, I mean, tactics puzzles, you're like routinely doing, you know, what, 50 in like 5 minutes or something. Calculation training is when I do them with Jakob and the way we do a killer chess string. You got these like 6 problems on a page. You print out this page, go into a quiet room, set them all up on a board, and like, you know, give yourself anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour to like solve them all. And they're really tough and it's demanding. And this is the kind of things that a lot of people just don't do. There was a time before I met Jakob, I believed I was very good at calculation because I didn't see that distinction. I was good at seeing tactics quickly. I mean, even then I question if I really was. But once I met him, I realized the difference between tactics and calculation. I realized how unbelievably bad I was at calculation. Not only that, how unbelievably bad just about everybody else in the world was too. And then I realized that if I start training this stuff really well, I'm going to get a lot better and beat a lot of people. And yeah, that's sort of what happened. All right, Sergey Rachmaninoff, are you going to break my heart for a 3rd time in a row? Good grief. Okay. Let's see, people who are actually here. Let's play with Lunatic Soul. He's a recent challenger, so maybe he will actually show up. Yay, someone showed up. All right. Good luck, Lunatic Soul. Let's have a good game. Everyone with their exchange Slavs. Good grief. This move order, I think you're supposed to play f6, a6 against everything. Oh man, Homer Simpson is playing d4 because I gave it to him and stopped playing e4. All right, homie. Glad to hear it. All right, that's a weird move because against bishop e2, I wanted to like take f3 anyway. So this is very dry. But if I guess if I play bishop d6, he's gonna like play bishop g5 or something like that. But okay, fine. Let's just do it. Yeah, so this guy is playing the same way the other guy did before, but like already I kind of prefer black. I think that the 2 knights are kind of better than the bishop and knight is. In the previous game, it was the bishop on f3 that was misplaced and not really doing much on the queen side. Now it's the bishop on, now it's the queen. So, okay, like he's offering a queen trade, but he's already just like making questionable changes to his pawn structure that could in theory matter in the end. So let's go e5 and like here when a knight comes to c4, it's going to be a lot more painful than it normally is. Like already there's a pawn. So that's a peshki for Miski. I guess he can play b3, knight e3, rook f3, and my knight's semi-trapped, but I can go knight takes a3 instead. Yeah, I'm just a pawn up already. Yeah, guys, I don't know why everybody loves the exchange Slav so much, or I also don't know why everyone with black hates it so much. In classical games, it's hard to win, but in blitz games, like it's just like, all right, the guy gave up most serious attempts at fighting for an advantage very early in the game, and then you just play and like, all right, so do I want knight d2 or do I want knight b2? Maybe knight d2 is better. Knight d2, take on c6, take on d5, take on f1, take c6, knight back to d2, bishop d3, and go rook c7 there. It's hard for him to save the pawn. Knight b2 is, maybe knight b2 is easier. Take d5, take back, knight f4, knight d4. Yeah, I think knight b2 is easier. They both probably win, but this one looks easier to me. Oh shoot, did I blunder taking bishop f5? Oh boy, what a day. I think I can still do this though. So eg5, ed5, bishop f5, I can go rook e8. Rook c5 is not a good move. So let's just go knight e7. And I'm a pawn up. Maybe people are afraid, so they play the exchange Slav. Yeah, but if you're afraid of losing, you just shouldn't play chess. I mean, there are people who play the exchange Slav for an advantage. There's ways that you can do that, but when you're dealing with people online, those are not really the people we're talking about. I mean, there was a phase where exchange Slav was actually looking pretty reasonable for white. That phase is sort of over. Any tips how to visualize the chessboard in your mind playing blindfold? Just do a lot of calculation training. I mean, it's like Jakob is the guy for that. You know, he read his books, go to killer chess training. Like, you know, it's some people like to play blindfold chess and that helps. I think the best thing you can just do is hardcore calculation training. It's worked for me for sure. But, so here I'm 2 pawns up and absolutely winning. All right, let's get rid of that knight. Okay, we'll take this one. Knight d4. Take the rook. We're still playing Lunatic Soul. Not like other people want to play right now. Good game, Lunatic Soul. Don't play the exchange Slav. All right, I Thunderstorm. We'll see if that's that is a username that exudes a perhaps unhealthy degree of confidence. Perhaps I should try to break that confidence down. All right, well, I've seen enough exchange Slavs. They're annoying. Let's play a King's Indian. I don't know too much about these lines, but I will do my best to fake it until I make it. Okay, so d5 already. Every time I play the King's Indian in something like this, I can just like hear the voices of Fischer and Kasparov just laughing at me because I have no clue what I'm doing, but I don't know, maybe I'll be able to not embarrass myself too badly here. So I think there's a point that in this position, if a3, you can go knight b6 because you can't play b4. So, but okay, now I think my position's pretty reasonable. I can go knight dc5. I'm threatening f5. If a3, I'm ready with a4. I don't know. Did I ever play Nimzo? Yeah, I mean, nowadays Nimzo's probably like my main opening, even if I'm playing it mostly. But nobody plays into the Nimzo anymore. They always play like Catalan or knight f3. So, but yeah, I mean, of course, I've played just about everything. King's Indian, QGD, or QGA are like the only openings I've never played with black against d4. I've played Benoni's and Benkos even, but I've never played any real King's Indians or Queen's Gambit accepted. But yeah, so here it feels like a very good King's Indian to me. He's not, I mean, I'm not exactly a King's Indian expert, but this just seems like all my pieces are on good squares. I've managed to take back g takes f5. He's not breaking my queenside. Bishop h6 is coming. And I think I should be doing pretty well here. F4. What is my favorite player to finish second in the US Chess Championship? Robert Hess. Do I think I have a chance to qualify for the candidates? Maybe one day. I mean, I came reasonably close this year. I mean, if I had beaten, I think at the moment that I was, after I beat Karyakin in the first game, and was needed a draw with black. My guess is if you just took it in a vacuum and asked what were my odds of qualifying for the candidates at that moment, I think it was higher than 50%. Sort of a bummer that it didn't happen. And again, I think that will be the thing that I regret the most when it comes time to retire. But yeah, so here, like, white got no counterplay on either the king side or the queen side, and black got everything he wanted. Maybe my understanding of the king ascending isn't as bad as I thought, but yeah, so this looks like bad news. He cannot move. I mean, the queen b1 is the only square to stop a knight from landing on d3, but then after e takes f4, material is going to drop. So queen d1. Let's take f4. Did I focus on c4 lately? Not a ton. It's a move I sometimes play. It's not like my main move or anything. All right. So whenever black gets like an unopposed dark squared bishop like this, it just feels like the game is over. But you name it in the dragon, king's Indian, it feels almost unbeatable. But maybe I'll manage to screw it up. So let's start with rook e4. Is Hikaru my biggest rival in U.S. Championship? No, he's not even playing, which breaks my heart. He's he's the only guy to grow up in the U.S. and make it farther than me. He's like a hero to me. But no, he's not playing the U.S. Championship this year. So let's okay, how do I finish this off? My knight's really bad. Let's get it back towards the action. Save the pawn. Okay, now you let my knight back to a good square. That's fine. Give me that square. All right, so if I take on d2, he has to take e7, but I don't see a great follow-up afterwards. Let's just get the, oh shoot, I blunder f5. Oh, idiot I am. All right, let's take this one now, and now I should win. So if I take this and take everything, I will take his bishop at the end, and he doesn't have any checks. So at chess 24, you'll have the support of the people. Thank you, I appreciate that. I'll do my best to bring the U.S. Championship home again. There's only been one classical U.S. Championship that I haven't won since I took down the title in 2018. Hopefully 2021 will be my year again. All right, Bogdan Gramatia, I know you like to play with me. Let's play. Let's mix things up and play e4. I'm just going to spam my Chessable link in the chat again. Oh, French. Okay. Not sure about the French anymore. It's been a long time since I've looked at it seriously. But we'll see if I can at least fake knowing anything. Okay, knight f6 is a little unusual, but it's fine. Let's just take this one and then I think I remembered c3 being a clever move order here, but maybe I'm completely full of it. So now I can go knight f3, and I think the point was if you play knight f3 in the previous position, he can give a check on b4, when now he couldn't because I had played c3. But yeah, now I kind of like my position, actually. It's not amazing, but I might be a bit better here. e6 makes perfect sense. Let's go bishop f4 and start going queen e2 and rook d1. And my pieces are a bit more active. Are there any patterns you can prepare in advance for 960? There probably are. I mean, there are people who understand 960 better than me. I just do not care nearly enough to dedicate my time to that. I mean, I think like if I were to dedicate a lot of time to 960, I doubt it would have changed my results very much. Like I remember I played this match with MVL and he basically crushed me in 2018. And I had been doing some pretty serious 960 work there. I had played mock versions with 4 different days of mock versions with 3 different opponents of what the tournament would look like with the exact same amount of time elapsed in between seeing the position starting to play. And I actually even got one of the positions that we played in the in the mock versions, and like still I got completely crushed. And then when I came in completely dry to this last 960, I mean, perhaps I'm just a better player now, but like when I came into this last 960 event totally dry, I played much better. Like I almost won the tournament, and I finished ahead of like Kasparov, and you know, so yeah. Anyhow, here I want to play G4. What was it like to play Gary at 960? It was actually kind of a bummer. I mean, I'd been looking forward to this day for like as long as I could remember. But one of the big drawbacks of 960 is that when you get some position for the first time, that's totally random in terms of its piece assortment, you really don't know how the pieces are supposed to coordinate. And you just kind of have to guess. And like, if you just guess wrong, like you can just lose in like 3 moves. And that's exactly what happened to me with Gary. I played a 960 and I played 9 games, and I felt like I only played 5 because I lost to Gary and Maxime in like 10 moves each, and I beat Wesley and Hikaru in like 10 moves each. And these just basically felt like I didn't even play these games. So I was actually really disappointed. Like I would not have wanted to beat Gary like that either for 960. I wanted to like get a chance to actually play chess with him, and it just didn't happen that game. I guessed wrong where my pieces are supposed to go, and then yeah. Anyhow, here this attack should crash through pretty easily. It's sort of a strategic style attack like I gave against the Vienna or whatever in the chessable course, where you just sort of argue that this rook on a8 can't get into the game, and then you crash through on the king side. It's not even like you're trying to give mate, it's like you're just trying to win the game on the king side where black's pieces are, and the fact that his king is there only makes it like more forceful. But yeah, this is definitely mate. And yeah, to people, what openings for intermediate level you recommend for white and black? I think my courses are great for those. I give the Semislav and the classical Sicilian for black, as well as like a c6, d5 plan against English ready and sidelines. And then for white, I give a full d4 repertoire. I think those are very good ones. I mean, it's certainly not the only good thing you can do, but you know, I don't publish things I don't believe in. So, okay, how are we going to finish this guy off? He is sort of threatening queen c6, which is a bit annoying. So if I go bishop e4, I'm sort of a pawn up, but it's not that convincing. Bishop e4, if he plays take, queen, if he takes on g6, take on b7, take on e6. Feels like it has to be mate, but king g7, if nothing else, bishop g5 should be good enough. Maybe isn't that knight f8, queen f6, bishop e4, if take, knight f6, I have queen e5, knight g4 is mate on h8. I think bishop e4 is good enough. Maybe I could have done something more forceful, but queen c6 was starting to scare me. So this seems fine. All right, so he takes this, but yeah, now I'm just a pawn up. So I'll win this game with material. I mean, I might mate him too. That could happen, but yeah, in fact, I probably will. But okay, so my thought here was I could go queen e5, and now he cannot take my knight, or he cannot play knight g4 because does he have bishop f2? Oh shoot! Did I just blunder bishop f2? Oh, that's a gross move too. It just wins on the spot. That wasn't working. Bishop f2, maybe I could have. Actually, bishop f2, I think I could have gone rook f2, rook d1, rook f1, when it's not like over, but I think bishop f2 is a winner. Oh, man. All right. Who else wants to play? Let's play with Resident Evil. All right, Resident Evil, show me what you got. Yeah, going back to 960, that game with Kasparov, I was basically lost on move 5 and had essentially no chance. And, you know, he had been having a rough tournament so far, and it was nice to get him on the scoreboard, but, you know, I would have liked to have, you know, played a game with him. Well, maybe I'll get a better chance next time. We'll get out of the opening with a playable position for both sides and get to really play. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, who else do we have? Let's go with Air CPLP. It's a recent challenge, so maybe he'll be showing up. Hi, Thor. I think I gave knight c3 in the course, so let's stick with it. Got a doggo at my feet. And a manager's place. He's a very lovely dog. I'm a little bit allergic to him, unfortunately, but it's really unfortunate because I like him so much and I like to hang out. All right. So yeah, this is Russian systems. This is a very ambitious way of playing against the Grunfeld. Like it's well, okay. This guy's not messing around. The whole point of playing this way, I was going to say, is that we managed to get the big pawn structure without letting black play knight takes c3, b takes c3, which that exchange not only gets a pair of pieces off when he has less space, but also makes it easier for him to play c5. But apparently this fellow just doesn't believe me. He's going to play c5 even when my queen can take it. So I don't believe this, but we'll see. All right, so there I'm going to go bishop e3 and overprotect the d4 pawn, which he's clearly trying to target. I have no idea. I don't know why he gave me the pawn like this. e7, let's go back to a3. Seems like a nice safe square. And if I can just go bishop e2 and castle, I'm completely winning. So he's got to make something happen pretty fast. I mean, he can try something like bishop f3 and then e5, but yeah, if he's not going to play e5, I just don't think he can do this. So let's go e5 myself to stop him from doing it. And then I'll go like bishop h3 and get ready for bishop g4 or just castle. And this feels like a... All right, let's go bishop g4. And maybe I can just take this knight and mate him on the g file, but I'm going to click pawn up. I mean, this is bad news for black. All right, I'm going to take this one and mate him. Or try to mate him at least. It's probably not the smartest thing. It would have been better to just consolidate the position and be more solid, but I do think I should be basically winning here. I can stick my king on e2 and he's safe as houses. And the pawn up and the bishop on g7 is bad, so this seems basically winning. All right, so let's take with the pawn and get this solid structure, and it seems to me that white is absolutely winning. King e2 is fine. All right, that move is asking for trouble, but I guess he wants queen h4 is his point. Let's just double the rooks on the g file. I don't think he's going to mate me on the c file fast enough, and I'm ready for like queen d3, knight g5 at some point. We'll have time for one more game after this, depending on how fast I can put this away. All right, other rook to g1, bishop h6, huh? Knight f6, I don't know what's my biggest threat, probably queen d3. But this is not going to be safe for black. Is there any meaning for USCF rating for top players? I mean, the US Championship uses, and the US Olympic team uses some complicated formula that incorporates USCF rating and FIDE rating and peak ratings, but I don't really care. Yeah. All right. I don't think we should even use USCF ratings for top events. USCF ratings are for the 99.9% of chess players who are not pros, and they're fantastic for that, but I don't really think they're particularly good for top level events. All right, one last game we're gonna play with. All right, chess trash talker. You got a dog picture, so I'm partial to dogs and cartoon characters, so let's see what you got. All right, so I'm gonna try to play a King's Indian with this guy because that's just what I've been feeling like doing today, and it's worked so far. Let's see, I don't even know what people do these days. All right, let's go d6, and then I guess, okay, I think you're sort of begging me to play c5, right? So e8 to c7 to e6 is supposed to be a normal maneuver here, but I don't need to rush with knight e6, so I can start with like rook b8 and b5. Okay, now I need to rush, so don't want to let him play d4. But I'm actually going to start with knight d4 directly. I don't need to play knight e6 yet. I like knight d4. And I can go rook b8 and b5. This is not a wildly interesting position, but I think black's doing pretty well. Rook b8, open b file. Do you think doing workout or yoga can help handle the pressure or game stress? Yeah, I mean, I don't know about yoga, but like I exercise like an absolute fiend, not mainly because of like stress, but just because I like fitness, and I think it's important to really have the stamina to play long games and long tournaments. There's some players, I'm not naming anybody, who are not in the best shape and, will play really well for the first 5 or 6 rounds and really start struggling by the time it's, the 10th round. But one of the reasons I think that I've won a lot more tournaments than other players of similar level of like low 2700 is that I do really well in last round games. Part of that is I am good under pressure, but the other is that I'm very fit and I'm ready to play long games and long tournaments without getting too tired. But yeah, I mean, exercise is just good for you for a million reasons. I don't know if like, the pressure, dealing with the pressure of the game is one of them, but if you think it helps, if you think that helps you, that's just another reason to do something that's good for you. So yeah, I definitely think people need to exercise more. All right, so here I'm taking his queen and should be pretty routinely winning. I guess after rook b8, I have to be careful not to allow rook takes c8 and knight e7, but apart from that, it should be good to go. All right, so e5, let's go bishop a6 and harass this pawn a bit. Okay. Let's just play king g7 and be nice and calm. I was thinking of, okay, now I'm going to take this one. I was thinking of taking it last move, but now I'm really going to take it. In my opinion, what's the d4 equivalent of the Sicilian in fighting chess terms? It's not really is one. I guess it would probably be the Grunfelds, but it's a bit more forcing and there's fewer ways for black to mix it up and play different versions of the Grunfelds. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, if we're talking about versions of the Sicilian, Sicilian is a first move decision. So I guess d4 knight f6 would be d4 Sicilian. Then after that, it's lots of different options. But yeah. Anyhow, this was a good session. Good job, everybody. Thanks for the games, and I will see you all next time.
It's going to be Jan Kobayashi versus Magnus Carlsen for the World Championship in November in Dubai. The candidate at the World Championship.
Yeah, the Pomniachi, with
It was a tense semi-final match between Magnus Carlsen and Jan Pomniachi.
Want to raise your chess to a new level? Challenge Yourself is an exclusive, innovative experience designed for Chess24 Premium members. Train like a champ with a unique set of lessons prepared by the coaches of the challengers. Boris Girlfriend and Co. will help you improve your chess. Play a champ. Play a grandmaster each day in Banter Blitz. Take advantage of this incredible opportunity from June 10th. Go premium and challenge yourself.